So when we think about this, again, we can look chapter 18, 19, and 20 with these eyes, okay? That Jesus is God, but he is going to die for his creation. Now, we look at this again. That is, was night. Jesus is going, where is he going now? To the garden, right? And he is praying and his way to the garden. That is chapter 17. And now he is going there in chapter 18. We have that. So he is going to that place to keep praying. And we know what he was praying in the garden, because the other three gospels are going to tell us what he was praying, right? Like a short statement about what he was praying. So notice that Jesus went to a place called Gethsemane. He said to his disciples, sit here while I go over there and I pray. And we have in chapter 18 in verse 1 something similar, okay? Now, this verse 1, it is an interesting verse to begin with in chapter 18, okay? Now, notice that Jesus spoke these things, chapter 17, right? And all the teaching from chapter 13 all the way to chapter 17. And there is a garden which he and his disciple enter. Now, the question is, why is he going to this place? Why is he going to this garden? Now, we know that because of the other three gospels, he is going there to pray, right? Because his time is coming. But the question keeps remaining. Why is he going there? Well, the only answer that we can have is because he goes there all the time, right? Now, we're going to see that in the rest of the chapter. He goes there all the time to pray. Remember, he is looking for places. He's looking for places like in the mountain, like in this garden. He's looking for places that he can pray. So Jesus is not just pray because this time is coming. He's always what? Praying. Always praying. Okay? So this is a teaching for us. Do not pray when just something is coming to your way. You need to always pray. Right? Because when something is coming, you're already praying for you and for your life and for other people. Okay. So here we have the death and resurrection and arrest of Jesus. So we're going to spend most of the time in this class in the arrest of Jesus, okay? And that I hope that we can cover from verse 1 all the way to verse 30, talking about this. So notice in verse 2, now Judas, who betrayed him, also what? Knew the place. Why did he knew the place? Because he go there with his disciples often, right? This is not a new place. And for Jesus often met there with his disciples. So this place is not a new place. Now, I have a question for you guys. If Jesus is trying to avoid crucifixion, why is he going to this place? He's not trying to avoid crucifixion first, right? He's trying to face crucifixion. He don't want to suffer, but he's facing crucifixion. He is going to be crucified. But if you want to avoid crucifixion, you can avoid this place, right? You can go to a different place because Judas knows this place. But he's not avoiding the place. He's just going exactly to the place that was determined, and Judas knows. Yes.
And so, of course, the disciples knew that where they were going.
Yep,
and
yep.
I think the praying, walking away and praying, we've been instructed before to pray in quiet and peace and secret, kind of off a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think that's the reason that he went off and prayed, is because he wanted that privacy and with him and God.
Yeah, it's true. And just because we have the other three gospels that is telling us more information about what Jesus is doing, and the other three gospels are going to tell us that Jesus is praying in this agony, right? Please let this cup pass from me. But in the book of John, John is not going to say that, right? John is not going to mention that. John is presenting something different. And what is he presenting? That he is taking care of his disciple, his people, and he is going to the cross no matter what. And here we have something that is, he's not avoiding the prey that Judas knew. He's going to the same prey because he knows that Judas is coming with more people to arrest him.
The whole prayer, too, was about taking care of us. The whole prayer that he gave, he wasn't giving, praying for himself. He was praying for all of us.
Yeah, it's true. He was praying first for him to do his Father will. He was praying for his apostles, and he was praying for us. Yeah. Yes, and we're going to show that. Sue?
Well, I just have a stupid question.
There is no stupid question. Maybe a stupid answer, but...
I watch History Channel sometimes, and I don't always believe what's going on. But anyway, they were talking the other day where they found some new, or not new, but they had found some more pieces, like the books of the Bible.
Uh-huh.
And it said they found something that Judas and Jesus got together and decided that Jesus
Oh, okay.
betrayed,
Uh-huh.
to make this,
Yeah. And also I think that is in the Gospel of Thomas. This new gospel was written in the 6th, 7th century. And people were saying that Judas and Jesus were, together in this plan of betraying Jesus. Like, okay. So I know how you can do that, but you can betray me and I would suffer. I would be glad to do that.
But you knew what was going to happen to him, and it happened.
Yeah, and well, many people wrote things in the Gnostics during the 1st century. They said that they had a special revelation from God, so they have a special information, so they were writing things that were not true, and they were saying things that were not true. So sometimes most of the books that are not in the Bible, but some people apply them to people from the 1st century, like apostles and first Christians. So yeah, this person said this. He said, no, it's not true. Yes. Okay, so Judas, having procured this a band of soldiers, his officer from the chief priests, and later and the Pharisees, and went there with lanterns and torches and weapons. Now, why do you need this whole group just for one guy? Why do you need more than 5 people just for one guy? Now we have a group, at least 50 people, just for one guy, a preacher of peace. And they are coming with what? Lanterns and torches and weapons. Like they are ready to fight. And they're thinking like Jesus is going to hide somewhere. So we need something to look for him, right? And the caves or whatever. No, Jesus is not hiding. He goes to the prey that Judas knew, right? So he's not hiding. But these people think like maybe he's going to hide. So we need to just be prepared. And this is amazing because they are coming against Jesus with all these things and all these people, not just the soldiers, but some officers. And some of the Pharisees also are coming. So there's a huge group that are coming to get Jesus arrested. Now, they look like a lynch mob, right? They want to just end it up with this. Now, why are they doing this during the night and not during the day? Because of the people. Now, this is just amazing again because they are doing this during the night, and that is another teaching for us that when you do evil is when it's dark. And you have darkness in your life, you are going to what? Do evil. So during the night, they're coming to Jesus, arrest Jesus, this man who is God himself, willing to sacrifice himself for the people, even for these people who are arresting him, and even for the people who are crucifying him, right? So he is going to die for everyone, and now here we have a 50 group of people arresting Jesus.
somebody wants to get him, he would slip away, because it's not his time. He would slip away, and they don't even know where he went. But this time, he knows what's coming, so that's why he says, why are you here with weapons? Haven't you not been there with me, when I was preaching?
Yep.
And you don't need all this. I'm
Yep.
right here.
Yeah, and he's going to say that in, notice in verse 4, and it's a good point. So then Jesus, what? Knowing all that will happen to him, came what? Forward and say to them, whom do you seek? So Jesus saw this huge group coming to him, and Jesus knew all things that happened to him. He knew that from a long time ago, this is going to happen to me. And he was telling his disciple, this is going to happen to me. And remember, one time he told Peter, and Peter said in chapter 16, you are the Christ. And after that, Peter said that, Jesus said, okay, I need to go to Jerusalem, and I'm going to be arrested, and I'm going to be treated bad through these people in Jerusalem, and I'm going to suffer many things. And Peter said, what? No, Jesus, what are you talking about? This never happened to you. No. So they do not understand. So Jesus knew this. He was repeating this like all the time during his ministry. Now he is coming to these people who are coming to him to arrest him. What do you think? Whom do you seek? No, notice in John 17 and 18 and John 12. When Jesus is saying that, for this reason the Father loves me, because I laid down my life that I may take it up again. No one, what? No one take it from me. So what is Jesus doing at this moment? He is going to this garden, not because you just know this place, but because he has given his life. He said, I need to go there because I will give my life. This is the time. The hour is what? Here. So notice what he said. I have authority to let it down. And I have authority to what? To take it up again. And that is what? The resurrection. So this charge I have received from my Father. Notice in John 12. Now my soul is troubled. And what shall I say? Father, save me from this hour? But for this what? Purpose. So we know what Jesus is doing here. So notice in Acts, even the disciples were talking about this later in the first sermon by Peter, right? This Jesus, Peter said, deliver up according to the definite plan and foreknowledge of God, you crucify and kill by the hand of lawless man. So what is Peter saying here? Definite plan and foreknowledge. So what is he saying? This plan of salvation that Jesus is going to be crucified and going to suffer and going to give his life for many people, for all the people, this is a plan that was an eternity with God. So how a plan can be an eternity with God when he's not even creating a human being? Well, because he is eternal. He can just think about what he is going to do, like, I will do it, and he can think a plan of something, right? Because he is eternal. Now, this is showing us how much wisdom and knowledge God possesses, right? Zenobia?
Well, Peter was speaking here in Acts 2 in hindsight.
Uh-huh.
In hindsight of what had happened to Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Because Peter did not have that foreknowledge.
Yes. Yeah.
So he was speaking in hindsight about Jesus Christ.
Uh-huh.
And people probably understood better why Christ had to die on the cross.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that happens to us. In hindsight, it's wonderful to go back in history. This is what happened.
Yes.
We don't
Yes.
know what's tomorrow.
Yes. It's true. Yeah. So again, they were speaking about this, and notice in verse 5, all the way to verse 9. They answered him, Jesus of Nazareth, we are looking for him. So Jesus said to them, what? I am he. Judas, who betrayed him, was standing with them. When Jesus said to them, I am he, they drew back and fell to the ground. Now, they are not falling like this, like to the back. They are falling to the They're on their knees, okay? That's what the Greek language is saying. They're falling to their knees. Now, why are they falling to their knees when Jesus say, I am he? He said, I am, in some way. Yeah, and what is the first reaction when God is in your presence and he said, I am he? What can be the first reaction? You're falling on your knees. Yeah, and there will be a point in history, in the future, Philippians said this, that all knees will what? Bow. Even if you want it or not, all knees will bow. And yeah, so here we have a time when people are coming to arrest Jesus, and Jesus said, I'm not going to avoid this because I am already here. So Jesus is not asking them to just, because he do not know. He knows, right? He knows what they are looking for. But he is coming to them and said, whom do you seek? Well, we are seeking for Jesus. Well, I am he. I am. And now notice what happened. So he asked them again, imagine if you are just coming to just arrest Jesus, and now you are on the ground, on your knees, and Jesus is asking again, what are you doing, guys? Are you seeking me? I don't know, the impression and I don't know. Are you going to, I don't know if that's going to be a proof for you to believe in this man and now? Or maybe you're going to be confused, what is happening here? Why are we arresting this guy? He said just, I am he, and now we are on the ground. So it's a huge thing. Now, whom do you seek? And they say, Jesus of Nazareth. Jesus answered, I told you that I am he. So if you seek me, let this man go. This was to fulfill the word that he had spoken. Of those whom you gave me, I have lost not one. That is in chapter 17. So here we have again, notice in Matthew what Matthew said. Now the betrayer has given them a sign saying, the one I will kiss is the man, say him. And he came up to Jesus as one and said, greeting, Rabbi, and he kissed him. Jesus said to him, friend, do what you come to do. What a really sad moment. Can you imagine all this group, Judas come and kiss him, and later Jesus said, whom do you seek? And, well, we are looking for Jesus. I am he. And now everything is on the ground. Oh yeah, we need to arrest this guy? I don't think so. So no, yeah.
I just totally think that the Romans would have known who Jesus was, and the priests and the Pharisees, when they went to arrest him. Why did Judas have to go up to him and give him a peck on the cheek?
Yeah, well, also it's because it's night, and also that a kiss is the sign of friendship. That's why Paul said in the book of Romans, that in chapter 16, verse 16, I think, kiss with a holy kiss. Greet one another with a holy kiss. Because it was a greeting of friendship. So Judas is doing that. He said, you are my friend. He said, oh, I am not your friend. You are betraying me. It's ironic that we think that Jesus is our friend, but later we do things against him. So here we have, they came and laid, notice what Luke said also. But Jesus said to him, Judas, would you betray the Son of Man with a kiss? Are you going to do that with a kiss? So here we have more information for this, for the book of John. Now Matthew said also, 26:55, at that hour Jesus said to the crowd, have you come out as again a robber with swords and craft to capture me? Day after day I sat in the temple teaching, and you did not seize me? What are you coming now with all of this? What are you doing this now? When I was there day by day in the temple. Well, remember in the book of John, there were more than one time that Jesus said something about he was equal to God and he was God, and the people were not happy with that, and they were ready to kill Jesus. Yeah, they were. So that is in chapter 5, chapter 10, later in chapter 12. We need to kill Jesus. Now they're here. So Jesus said, well, I was there every day in the temple. I did not say anything wrong. But you are not happy with the truth. So Verse 10, then Simon Peter, having a sword, drew it and struck the high priest's servant and cut off his right ear. The servant's name was Malchus. So Jesus said to Peter, put your sword into his chest. Shall I not drink the cup that the Father has given me? Now, what did Peter say before this event in the other three Gospels? If it's necessary, I will give what? My life for you. Now, what is Peter doing right now? Fighting. He is ready to fight, right? Now, if you have 11 guys, most of them are fishermen, right? A tax collector and other people, another guy, 11 guys. What are you going to do against soldiers who are trained to kill people and a group of 50 guys that are coming to arrest Jesus? What are you going to do against them? Nothing. Right? Now, what is happening here with Peter is cutting this ear of this servant? Now, another miracle is going to happen. Now, this is the time for all these people to see the miracle and do what? Believe. So it's not about the lack of evidence that Jesus is given. He's given evidence until the last moment, even after the resurrection. Right? But it's not about the lack of evidence. It's about what? The condition of the heart. So Christianity, again, is built upon evidence. So when people say about faith, they say, no, faith is not just believing something without having the evidence. Faith is believing in something with the evidence. That is the Bible faith. So if Jesus is showing the faith, that's why the book of John was written. When you read the book of John, John said what? In chapter 20. That you can believe. I am telling you all of this that you can believe. But this is the evidence that I have for you. So here we have another piece of evidence, a miracle that you can believe. But these people are not going to do that. Notice in Luke, what Luke said about this event. And when those who were around him saw what will follow, they say, Lord, shall we strike with a sword? Almost all the disciples were what? Ready to fight. Right? They do not understand what Jesus was teaching 3 years. It's not about physical kingdom, it's about spiritual kingdom. I need to die. You just don't get it. And here we have, and one of them struck the servant of the high priest and cut off his right ear. But Jesus said, no more of this. And he touched his ear and healed him, and his ear, and healed the guy. So another miracle that is happening here for them to believe. So Peter's response is absurd for two reasons. I want to give that reason to you. When Peter took his sword and cut the ear of this servant, it's not a good response. Why? Because first, Peter do not know or do not understand that Jesus has the power to destroy all of them, right? To do something like this is done. He just says something and the people are where? On the ground. He just says something. So he don't need Peter to just take his sword and just start fighting, right? He can just say something. And also he don't understand also that Jesus needs to die. Now, first look who Peter is up again. We have all these soldiers and all these things and they are ready to fight. Peter do not understand that. He's like against like 50 people, or maybe more than that. Also, Peter is with Jesus. Jesus says something and things happen. Like God in the beginning, in the book of Genesis, right? He just says something and things happen. So here we have they're arresting Jesus in verse 12. So the band of soldiers and their captain and the officers of the Jews arrested Jesus and bound him. So here we have Jesus. I have that date there in a while. So verse 13, first they led him to Annas, for he was the father-in-law of Caiaphas, who was high priest that year, and it was Caiaphas who had advised the Jews that it would be expedient that one man should die for the people. That is in John 12, I believe. So we have two guys here, and one guy was a high priest until 15 AD. Okay? Now, they were not doing this high priest according to the Jewish law. The Roman power, they were just telling the Jewish people who will be a high priest. So it was more about a position and power, okay? Now, his son-in-law is now high priest. So that's why they take him, Jesus, first to the house of this older guy first, because he was a high priest, and many people recognize him as a high priest. Now, and this guy began all the idea of killing Jesus. So they're taking him to that place. Now, here we have the first trial before this guy. So the high priest, that is what? Annas, right? Questioned Jesus about his disciple and his teaching. Jesus answered him, I have spoken openly to the world. I have always taught in synagogue and in the temple, where all the Jews come together. I have said nothing in secret. So why do you ask me? Ask those who have heard me what I say to them. They know what I said. When he had said this thing, one of the officers standing by struck Jesus with his hand, saying, is that how you answer the high priest? Well, first, he is not what? A high priest yet. He's not a high priest, right? He was, but he's not now. Right. And also, Jesus is saying, you are not presenting what? Witnesses against me. And later they're going to present some people with false what? Testimonies, right? So, Jesus answered him, if what I say is wrong, bear witness about the wrong. But if what I say is right, why do you strike me? Now, are they doing this in the legal way through the Jewish custom? No. No. And actually, there is a rabbi, the Talmud, that said this. Go to the house of Annas. Go to the serpents, their high priest, their sons are keepers of the treasury, their sons-in-law are guardians of the temple, and their servant beat the people with staves. So this guy was what? Not a really good guy. So they're leading Jesus to this first guy who is not even a decent guy to deal with. So he's not going to do things in the good way. Not. So notice also what this person said. Our true law, talking about the Jewish law, does not inflict the penalty of death upon a sinner by his own confession. So what is he saying? You need witnesses to testify against someone. That is the Old Testament law. You need you need 2 or 3, right? At least. And they presented 3 with these false statements about what Jesus was saying. So they do not even have a case against Jesus. They do not even have people that can testify against Jesus. They're going to pay someone to testify against this guy. So again, here we have something that they're not doing. Notice what this guy said. Take your evidence about me in the proper and legal way. Examine your witnesses, what you have every right to do. Stop examining me, what you have no right to do. So again, what are they doing? They're doing everything that the law does not say. Yeah.
Well, and then I was looking that up to myself, and it said that, it's considered a kangaroo court.
Mm-hmm.
It violated had key illegalities, conducting proceedings at night, number 1, holding them on the eve of a feast day, number 2, using false witnesses, number 3, and failing to allow for a proper defense or overnight deliberation.
Yes. So all of this is, they're doing this because they want to kill Jesus.
Against their law.
They already determined, before Jesus was arrested, we're going to kill Jesus.
Yeah.
So no matter what people say, no matter what happened, we're going to kill him.
They wanted to kill him too, because they wanted their Passover, and they wanted him to be dead because the people would follow him, and then they wouldn't be in charge anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, this guy, Annas, he was a rich person during that time. Actually, some people say that he was so rich that most of the surrounding the temple belonged to him and his family. And some people say that this guy began with the idea to sell things in the temple. when Jesus came into the temple, he said, "No, why are you making the house of God, place of business, house of robbers or whatever?" And and Jesus is attempting against this guy business. So everything that he is saying in some ways against this other guy and this his family. So again, here we have a man who is preaching the truth, and they're going to kill him because of his preaching what? The truth. So also this other guy said, when a man is engaged in an evil way, his only desire is to eliminate anyone who opposes him. If he cannot do it by fair means, he is compelled to resort to all. Is it not true? Yeah, it's absolutely true. They did that with Jesus. They keep doing that with other people. So now we have him in front of Caiaphas. In verse 24, we have that. And it's amazing that John is not going to tell us what happened during that time. But Matthew will say that. So then the chief priests and the elders of the people gathered in the place of the high priest, whose name was Caiaphas, and gathered together in order to arrest Jesus by steal and kill him. So they already what? Want to kill Jesus. It doesn't matter what Jesus said. So why are they asking something to Jesus? Well, in order that they can have an excuse and say, well, Jesus said this, so now that's why we kill him. It's not true. So also in Matthew 26, notice what happened here. Then those who had signed Jesus led him to Caiaphas, the high priest, where the scribes and the elders had gathered. And now the chief priests and those who, the whole council, were seeking false testimony against Jesus that they might put him to death, but they found none. Though many false witnesses came forward, at last two came forward and said, "These men said, I am able to destroy the temple of God and to rebuild it in 3 days." If he was talking about the physical temple. No, he's talking about what? The spiritual temple, actually his own body. And I'm glad that Matthew put this here because Jesus is going to do that, exactly what these people are saying, right? He's going to rebuild his temple in 3 days. He's going to be alive again in 3 days. Mary? Why the what?
He knew that they would take that to mean the physical temple.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Yeah, well, again, the temple was so, something that the Jewish people love, but they were not doing the will of God anyway. But they loved the temple, especially because it was the law. But if they're using this to just say something against Jesus, like the most ironic thing that you can use against someone for a false testimony. It's like, yeah, why are you saying that?
They had already made their decision.
Yeah. Zenobia?
I think that the high priest, Caiaphas, and others, they did not understand the difference between a spiritual temple and a physical temple.
Yeah, I think they understand the difference between a spiritual place and a physical place, but they don't care.
Oh, okay.
They do not even, because they want to just kill Jesus. So whatever someone is going to say against Jesus, okay, we can use that. And we can just use it as an excuse to kill Jesus. So notice also in verse 62, and the high priest stood up and said, "Have you no answer to make? What is it that this man testify against you?" But Jesus remained silent, and the high priest said to him, "I adjure you by the living God, tell us if you are the Christ, the Son of God." Man, why are they asking? The confession of faith, right? Because this is what Peter said in Matthew 16. This is the confession of faith, that you are the Son of God, you are the Christ, right? Now Jesus said to him, "You have said so. I am the Christ, I am the Son of God. And now, but I tell you, from now on, you will see the Son of Man seated at the right hand of power and coming on the clouds of heaven." What a statement. You want to kill me? Go ahead. Because after that, I will receive power, and I will come in the clouds of heaven with vengeance. With vengeance. So then the high priest tore his robe and said, "He has uttered blasphemy. What further witness do we need? You have now heard his blasphemy. What is your judgment?" They answered, "He deserved death." Then they spit in his face and struck him, and some slapped him, saying, "Prophesy to us," you cried. Who is it that struck you? Brethren, this is the beginning of the most horrible trials of Jesus. They're slapping, they're spraying in his face, they're just pushing him. And these guys, they say this about these Caiaphas. About 2 years after our Lord's crucifixion, Caiaphas and Pilate were both disposed by Vitellius, the governor of Syria, and afterwards, emperors, Caiaphas, unable to bear the disgrace and the stain of his conscience for the murder of Christ, killed himself about AD 35.
So he committed suicide.
He committed suicide. It's just a piece of information that we can see in history that is true. And again, I don't know if you can just think about this in a minute, that they were doing all these horrible things against Jesus, an innocent man who is trying to save us.
And then, I can't say his name, Caius? Well, his wife warned him and told him.
Oh, what that was with Pilate.
Don't, she warned him and told
Yeah, and we're gonna see that with Pilate later. That he has,
But
he is guilty. Yeah, Heather.
That's very interesting, that piece of history you just shared, and it just makes me wonder how many other people's consciences were disturbed, because reading this whole section with you, this chapter, when you're in the presence of God, and I'm just visualizing how maybe calm he was, and he's asking these questions to get them to think, like, you saw me teaching the people, and just the way he interacts with human beings, and the miracle of healing the servant's ear. I mean, you're in the presence of extraordinary.
Yeah. There's nothing that you can say. These people cannot see. They have their eyes close to the truth. But at the same time, God the Father is using these people and using all of them without them even noticing that for his own plan. Max?
In some respect, Christ did commit suicide because he could have stopped it.
Who?
Christ.
Who commits suicide? Oh,
There's a vision if he wanted to. If he thought he could get away with it.
yeah, I understand what you are trying to say. He can stop that, but he did not did it. And he did not did it because of the Lord, for his Father first and for us. But at the same time, he did not kill himself, but let others do that against him. Yeah.
People just never seem to be humble because their hearts are so hardened. For me, the bowing of the knees, I would have went the other way.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I would have been like, oh no, I'm out of this.
Yeah.
But their hearts are so hardened that they don't see, I don't think they even pay attention or register the miracles that he was doing.
No, they
I
don't.
don't think they even registered it.
No, and we're gonna stop here. But happen the same today. When you have a person, sometimes you're telling them what is evil and what is good, and they don't care. I don't care what is evil. I will keep doing it. And so you told them what is good, and they say, I don't care. I want to do that. So their heart is what? Hardened and dark. And dark. They don't want to bow down their knees before the I am.
And that's because Satan has control, right?
Yeah, but because
darkness.
they decided first. Yeah, this is a decision that they are making. And later, after a while, it's so hard to just come out of that condition. So hard. Esther?
And sometimes too, even when you show a person in the Bible the scripture of what you're trying to teach them, because they're saying it they've been taught the wrong